So when we talk about what we talking about, I need y'all to open y'all mind. Y'all gotta celebrate these DJs. Y'all gotta celebrate the niggas. I've seen rappers that got broke by DJs turn their back on the DJs. It don't make no sense. Nigga, without those niggas, where would you be?
You ain't gonna throw me in no corner like I'm some neighborhood DJ. You gonna put me on stage like I'm supposed to be, the same way you gonna put Jay-Z on stage. Same way you gonna put the dude with the hit record on stage. And I'ma sell this shit out the same way he did, and you're gonna treat me like you treated him. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about. I'm a DJ. I'm not the dude that made the record. I'm not that. I'm a dude that'll play your record better than you perform it. Don't play yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's
Johnny Fontana, half amazing discussions. We are doing it live. All right. This is going to be a master lecture, so get comfortable. It's going to be long. And I'm going to do something that has never been done before on YouTube. Okay. And it's basically going to provide perspective into how to actually be and thrive in the music industry, but more importantly and specifically the DJ industry, right? Because that's what this channel is all about. But you can also apply it in other areas as well. But I'm going to give you specific context and perspective as it relates to the DJ industry, right? So go ahead and sit back, relax. Also, just be aware that it's going out to a couple of courses that I have. So I thank you, appreciate for that. So we have different viewers from around the world actually listening in this open lecture format, right? So just be cognizant and aware of that when posting and commenting and so forth and so on, all right? Just respect the game and be courteous, and let's get on to it.
So this is the attitude I've been having for years, and people may not understand it. But I don't want to be looked at as a DJ that just play records. You're going to look at me as a force to be reckoned with. And if you don't, I don't need you. Simple as that.
Let me give you perspective, all right? Like I said, you're not going to get this anywhere else. And even for me, it took me a long time to get where I'm at. But it's a combination of all my life experiences and all my trainings in different work fields and my exposures to different cultures and countries and so forth and so on that has helped me to develop this, okay? So just be patient and let's get on with it.
You know what I'm saying? Like the real shit is create an opportunity for other niggas to get on. You know what I'm saying? And the way you're gonna do that is focus on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That's the real.
It's 2017, okay? And there's a disconnect in how DJs operate versus the producers, okay? And it's gonna a perspective that will seem very simplified once I actually reveal it, and you'll be like, man, I didn't really think about that, right? It's 2017. Producers, okay, have been conditioned to be anywhere in the world, any corner, and just throw yourself out there. Like Russell. When he was getting started, the artist Russell, the rapper, okay, once a week on SoundCloud, just put out his own tracks, okay, produced his own music, didn't have to worry about using anyone, engineers, whatever. He produced his own stuff and put it out on his own, and garnished a whole lot of following, right, that he sells out venues and so forth. Back in the day for us as DJs, we would make mixtapes, right? We would sell them out of our trunks. We would take, dozens of producers, string their musics together, okay, remix them on our own, do fly edits, whatever, and send them out there. But now, guess what? The producers, they're getting their music out on their own. So the audience is going straight to the source. You see what I'm saying to you? While we study here, putting out mixes like it's really doing anything for us. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, these producers have rendered us unemployed. So we're basically, you know, acting like producers in 2017, thinking that we're gonna get anywhere. What you don't realize is that DJs, we are a different breed. Okay, we are live and breathing, and what we do is inside of the nightclubs. Okay, what producers do is behind the computer, behind the boards, and they can just send any track, and if that track lands by the right people, they get put on. Okay, and even so, when they start DJing, it's not the same thing as someone who's been groomed and cultivated and who's actually came from the bottom up. So you got to understand that.
I think the fact that music is just essentially still a two-dimensional sonic experience is not going to, for the people who are engaged on the internet, that's not going to be enough anymore. You can't afford to have somebody doing their term paper while they're listening to your music, because really they're not listening. And the fact of the matter is most of us, when we listen to our music, if we're listening on the computer, we're doing something else while we're doing it. You're not really engaging in the music. The first thing I had to do was let go, in my mind, of all the traditional concepts of success.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you want to sell records, and yes, you want people to come to your shows, but if that's how you define your success, you're going to fail. Because there are people out there selling a lot of records and doing a lot of tickets, and nobody knows it is the tree falls in the forest.
Yeah.
And the minute those people stop coming, those bands will disappear off the radar as if they never happened.
Now, let's talk about execution versus knowledge. A lot of these DJs who, and then I'll get into one example, okay, who email me are in the business. Okay, so you have different types. You have those who have the knowledge, like, you know, like you have an idea of what you need to be doing, but you're just not executing properly. Some of you who now have the ability, right, to execute, but you just don't have the knowledge. You don't have the perspective. You see what I'm saying to you? So which means that because you don't have that perspective, you're not executing properly. So you have those who have the knowledge, who are willing, you know, who know what they need to be doing, but they just can't execute it. Okay? And then you have those who are out there executing in the business, but they don't have the knowledge in order to really get there. So, and I'm going to tell you that the game today in 2017 is much more easier than it was before. Much more easier. And as we go through the 6 steps, the 6 B's that I've created, my formula, okay? It's called the Force Couple Solutions. My 6 B's in order to make it in the DJ industry is easier today, okay? The concept of DJing and making it is easier today than it was in the 90s. The reason why is because you have so much at our disposal. Also, because there are more venues that are open. Okay? The problem that we have, though, is that, again, perspective. DJs are acting like producers, and DJs are not standing their grounds. DJs are not doing and applying the 6 B's in order to solidify their spaces and also put on for the people who came before them or who are now hot and need to move on, right? So somewhere down the line, there was a failure, okay?
And niggas out here are fighting to get on, and when the real niggas get really, really, really hot, they don't look back. And that's why those niggas don't even matter like that no more. Because now when you look back to your city to hold you up, it's nobody. It's nobody. It's not at all. It's nobody to hold them up. So when the heaters and the real hot, yo, we hot, New York is the movement looking lit, now they all gotta climb back up again.
I'll give you an example. DJ emails me, right? This was in April 2017. Let's call him, for the sake of the video and lecture, Flacco. Flacco's from New York. Okay, I have a lot of guys from New York who actually message me. He says, I'm in the business. I'm trying to tour, right? I'm into top 40, but I want to tour house music, deep house, and all that stuff. And he's like, I've done Madison Square Garden as a DJ. I've DJed for for different embassies and diplomats. You know, I DJ for, I guess, some king of some Arab country. And you know, but I want to be able to tour now. I'm ready to tour. All right, cool. So I go in. Oh, and also he has a radio station that I guess he syndicates from New York. I guess he sends out his music to California, and he's able to DJ out there, or have his radio show there. Fine, perfect. So now, obviously, me as a consultant, I got to do my research. I got to think, how do I fit him in? How do I put him on in the right direction? I can't put him on and like just say, hey, you go tour. How do I help him? How do I consult him? How do I put him in the right direction? So I got to do my research, right? Every great consultant worth his salt has to do the research of his client or potential client. So I do the research, see the reviews. Reviews, guy is a great DJ, right? Great reviews. Here's the thing though, all his reviews, and they're recent, are based on his wedding DJ events. Follow me, and I'm sure you know exactly where I'm going with this, right? If you've been with the Booth Rider team for a while, you understand where I'm going, because of how we connect dots. Oh, okay. So I go to the Facebook. Remember what he said. He does hip hop, whatever. You know, he dabbles in top 40, but but he wants to tour as house, you know, deep house and all that stuff, and big room house. Okay, fine. I know you understand where I'm going with this now. So I go to his Facebook. Okay, and I'm not going to Facebook to see how many friends you like, because I'll tell you right now, so when it comes to DJs, friends and all that stuff and social media, get it out the window. That's bullshit right now. I'm telling you right now, it's bullshit. It has nothing to do with anything. Okay? But I'm not going there to see how many friends you have, because when I look at your Facebook, it has nothing to do with friends. I don't care. So what are you doing? Who are you involved with? Who do you know? Okay? Not necessarily who's participating and commenting, but who do you have as your Facebook? Who are you interested, basically? Who are you interested? Who are you associated with in terms of that you just have them there as friends because you're interested in those people? I see a little radio thing that he does. Awesome, great. See his hip hop flyers. I know you know where I'm going with this. You say you want to tour house music. You go on my face page. I'm not big on social media. I'm not big on Facebook. I'll post here and there, but I'm not big. But when you see my Facebook friends, all the major house music DJs are there. I'm not talking about major. Okay? I have a couple of them too, but the people who are actually in the business, the underground, the mainstream, or whoever that's really making waves in house music, I'm friends with them, or I like their pages. So there's an association there, so you can see, oh, he's part of the culture. What you have to understand now is because of music has been now exposed to so many different people. Each subgenre, whether you've been in top 40, trap, okay, in electronic music, EDM, deep house, soulful, tech house, techno, all has its subdivisions, but all these subdivisions have filled in. So which means that you can have a whole entire night or festival of trap. You can have a whole entire night of techno. You can have a whole entire night of tech house, soulful, and the list goes on. So which means that it's kind of hard now to just say, hey, I'm top 40. Most of my reviews are based on my top 40 wedding, because that's weddings. You're not going to do house music in weddings. Most, especially in America, especially in New York. So most of your stuff is top 40. So it's going to be very difficult now for you to say, I'm going to DJ house music and I'm going to tour house music, when you don't even know anyone in house music. You're not even associated. You're not even friends with anyone there. So we're going to go to one of the to the other factors, that if you don't know anyone, Like, how can I even consult you? Because now you have to start from the ground up, and it's going to take a long time because you're not even part of that culture. Okay? So that leads to the first B, being self-aware. That's top line. You got to know what you want to do, who you want to be.
Right? Like you have to know what you're going to win on. And too many people want to be a pop singer or a comedian or a pretty face model, and it's just not who they are. Yeah. And too many of you are leaving enormous upside on the table by trying to force a narrative that's romantic in your mind versus what you actually have. Yeah. I could do so many more things to build up my following, but it's not who I am. I know the hacking ways to get more followers, to get more people to know who I am, but I'm a businessman that happens to like understand content a little bit. So I'm never going to be followed by the most, but I'm also, that means not going to sell things I don't believe in. Yeah. So if you follow all the other entrepreneurs on Instagram, they're selling watches and cash on bed and models and bottles and private planes, and I don't sell that because I don't want to get the cheap followers or the cheap engagement. Yep. And so when you really are self-aware, when you really know who you are, what it allows you to do is stay in your lanes, not do other things. I can't produce the kind of videos that my buddy Casey can, right? I can't. Like, it's just not who I am.
Like I said before, you cannot just be top 40 and house, because every subculture now has its own following. So you have a lot of people inside. So there's a culture. It's had its own culture. Like I said, you can have a whole entire night of tech house. Even with electronic music, the pop-up genres like future house, future bass, or G house. You can have an entire night of G house, of new disco, of tropical house. You can have a whole entire night of that. People come just to hear that. So that's that culture though. So you cannot be like, oh, well, I'm a top 40, but I want to now tour as a deep house DJ. And you're not even involved. So you have to be self-aware. Know what you want to do. You want to be a radio DJ. You want to be a club DJ. You want to be a mobile DJ. You see what I'm saying to you? That's top line. Sideline now. How much do you want to actually put into the game we call DJing? I'm going to ask you that question again.
Sometimes we do 2 parties in one night. I stay busy.
Can never be sleeping.
It's called work mode. Everybody's work. All the time we work. You want to be a DJ, you got to work. You to be able to maintain longevity in a career and stay hot, it's hard. It's not easy. You got to be up on everything. You got to move. You got to work. I think basically I work hard on anything I do, whether it's DJing, whether it's a nightclub, whether it's a radio show, whether it's my 3 restaurants. My strongest point is definitely nightclub, club rocking, entertaining in front of big crowds.
Let's get this started. How much do you want to put into the game we call DJing? Because if you want to tour, it's not for the faint of heart. Like, it's some serious biz. For me, the reason why I'm not a big DJ is because I'm an introvert. As weird and strange as that sounds, I am an introvert, which means that I'm not the rah, 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 rah type of person. You put me inside of a crowd, or you put me in and you'll understand what I mean. When you put me in a room, a conference room, I'm not going to be the one. All right, let's lead. I'm the one sitting back and reading the people. In my mind, I'm doing some crazy stuff. I'm like, oh, I wonder where he's from. He always got an accent. Is he from Brooklyn? Is he from Queens? That's where I get my reading from. Now you're putting two things together now. You got it. You see what I'm saying to you? Hopefully you understand what I mean by this. So I'm sitting there like, oh, I wonder how did he get that? Oh, I see his watch. I wonder where he got that from. Just thinking and reading the people in the crowd. Sometimes to the point where I'm like, I'm not even paying attention to what is happening because I'm just reading people and figuring out where they're from. Same thing when I'm in a club. I read people. Okay, and I see everyone there. That's my gift. It's a curse because sometimes I don't pay attention and I lose things. Johnny Fontana, we are doing it live at Dre's. Popping in Vegas, bottled in Miami, man. Just doing that network stuff.
Fun time, we're doing a live Half Amazing TV with my man, the violinist. Man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? My name's Ramon Phillip. I play violin and viola, and I play all around town out here in Las Vegas and the Strip and around. We're just talking about what goes in to being a professional musician. And it's funny, me and Johnny just ended up on the subject, and I was just talking to my boy Fernando. I just got back from a big tour in a country band called Elvis Monroe that has a lot of Grammy-nominated cats. It has Mariah Carey's old drummer, who toured the world with her for 20 years and recorded her albums. It has Lifehouse and Savage Garden's old guitar player, Ben Carey, who, you know, already went platinum many times and has toured the world. And the bottom line is, me and Johnny were talking about how people say that they want to become like professional musicians or whatever and do something like what we do, just have no idea what goes into it. And like I said, I pretty much have made it a career for a lot of years just playing in the lounges and casinos, and I'm around a lot of cats like myself that want to experience like the big time and, you know, want a glimpse of like what Bruno Mars is living like. And getting back from this tour, I got to be on the road in a tour bus for like 11 days, and I was really excited for like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome, you know, I'm gonna be in a tour bus. And it was awesome. I got to play some really huge stages in front of thousands of people, but we were waking up at 5:30 in the morning to be at a radio show at 6:30, and then to be at another radio show at 10, and to be on TV at 11:30, and another radio show at 2, and then you got a private show, then you got your main show at night, then you got to sign autographs, and we're kind of all doing this on our own, trying to make this happen for ourselves. And I'm getting to see like firsthand what it really takes to make it happen from people who actually have done it. So I guess the bottom line is like, there's way more work than I would have even imagined. And this is something that I've gotten for cats that don't even have to be doing this. The minimum work that they're putting in is like, you know, you have to really, like, if you say that you want this to happen, like, it's not gonna be fun, it's not gonna be easy. Bruno Mars is getting 3 hours of sleep 6 days a week. Like, I guarantee you that he's way busier than we were on our tour, and I was only getting that much sleep. So yeah, it's a beautiful and rewarding life, you know, and I love it, and I hope that I get to do this for the rest of my life. But it just is a lot of work, and you know, there's a big reward for the amount of work that you put in.
The point that I'm trying to make is that not everyone is built for the touring, okay? Not everyone is built to live out of your suitcase, because I don't want to be the one living out of my suitcase and going to hotels. Because remember, when I was living in different countries, okay, I would travel a lot, especially for work. I would be in these hotels, and I did not like it because I didn't know anyone there, and it got very lonely. Like, it gets very lonely. Like, you go from hotel, and even when I would go sometimes, because I was in the Marine Corps, I'd be working at the U.S. Embassy of Bangkok. But when I was in Burma, I would travel to Bangkok, and I would do the whole bedside supper club and circumvent Soy 11. I would stay at the Chateau de Bangkok. This is in 2004, 2003. It's like I would go there, I would hang out with the DJs, but it was lonely though, you know? And after you do your gig, sometimes I would DJ myself. They would invite me because I knew the DJs. I would DJ, and then you'd go home. Yeah, you'd go home with a girl, whatever. But after the girl leaves, it's like you're lonely. You go to the mall, you eat, and it's just, so you gotta understand how much you want to put into that. Another thing, which we'll discuss as far as like being, you know, in the networking, are you willing to step out of your city? Because a lot of these cats, man. And yo, I'm from New York. I'm telling you right now, I know a lot of you cats, especially in the Bronx or Queens, you just stay in Queens. You stay in the Bronx. A lot of cats from Long Island, you don't go out. You don't reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go to Brooklyn. Like, you don't go to Jersey. Jersey's right across the George Washington Bridge. right across the Tappan Zee Bridge. A lot of you cats, you don't go there. And there's so many different things happening. You know what I'm saying to you? But a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm not going to go over there. I'm not doing that. So that's that work. Like, you got to be willing to put in that work. You got to be willing, if you're traveling, okay, you got to be willing to understand that today's economy is not like the 90s. In the 90s, you can leave on Wednesday, get to Germany, okay, on a Thursday because of the time delays, DJ on Friday, Saturday, and come back Sunday. But now, let's say because you're not a superstar DJ, you just want to, you got your thing in the States, you want to DJ, whatever, $1,500, okay? Obviously, there's got to be reason for people to now fly you out. $1,500. You got to make that up because obviously you're probably gonna end up paying your flight there and back. So when you get there on a Wednesday, okay, if you only DJing on a Friday night and you get that $1,500, guess what? You just make it even. You cut even, so it doesn't make sense. Are you following me? And the thing about it is that if you don't have enough value, which we'll talk about later, no one's gonna bring you over for $1,500 anyway. Just, because you don't, what are you doing for $1,500? There's no reason. And number two, how do you recoup that? So you got to basically go on there on Tuesday, maybe DJ on a Wednesday, DJ on Thursday, and on Friday, have like that Saturday where, you go and you hang out, whatever, and you come back Sunday morning. You see what I'm saying? So you spend it 3-4 days, you got to basically tour. You got to go out there for a week in order to recoup that money. So again, knowing how much you want to put into the game, how much effort, what are you willing to go through? And especially if you guys are like in places like Asia, some of your cats, I'm sorry, some of you have some weak stomachs. So when you go out there and you drink the water, you're shitting, you're crapping for the whole entire week. Because you're like, oh man, I can't, you're DJing it. I've seen it happen. Guys that come from they've never left America. They go to Asia. They're eating all the food. Oh, I used to have sushi. Oh, I used to have, whatever, in the States. And they come to Asia and then they sit, like in those little like outdoor places where you sit like on these little stools, like the little blue chairs. Like the people that are cooking, well, you don't even know what you're eating there. It's cat, dog, whatever, squirrel. And then all of a sudden now, middle of the DJ set, man, he's like, yo, I gotta use the bathroom. Johnny, yo, can you watch the decks real quick? I'm like, what's going on? Dude's in the bathroom crapping because he's like, he doesn't know what to do. I mean, it's funny. You know what I'm saying? But it happens though. Because you have some weak stomachs, you know what I'm saying to you? So you gotta be willing to deal with that as well. So that's how much effort you want to put into it. But a lot of you people don't want to put that effort. A lot of you DJs, and I'm not gonna lie to you, because you've been conditioned like these producers, okay? You want to sit behind, and I'm coming after you now. You just relax, calm down, okay? I'm coming after you. Some of you just want to stay behind the internet and throw your social media out there, throw your mixes out there. You see what I'm saying to you? And thinking that people are gonna come to you. No, you got to get out there. You got to go. You got to hustle. We'll talk about that later. But you got to be in the mix, literally. You see what I'm saying to you? So you can't think that people are going to come to you and then give you a handout because you think that what we do is cool. There's a grind to this. There's a hustle to this game. There's this game we call DJing. You see what I'm saying to you?
It's always a movement or a situation that opened doors. It's like you have to be there. You have to be there. You have to go there. And with there, I mean certain places. If it's Ibiza, if it's a rave, it could be here. Those places, you have to be aware of them and just go and try your luck. Always have a USB stick or just the contact or just listen, be inspired.
Now, the second B. You got to be in the market.
But Ibiza is the mecca of electronic music because all the superstars, all the underground, all the new talents, you find them all there. And you don't need to go and pay all that money to the big superstar clubs. There's so much after hours and things for free on the beach where you discover new talents, where you're like sitting there and you're like, whoa, what is he playing? Bomb.
What I mean by that is that you have to be in the right place in order for you not to execute whatever it is that you've decided that you want to get involved in. You have to understand the energy of the city or place that you are in. And if you're not in a city where you feel that you can move and progress, then you need to move. Oh, Johnny, I can't because I have it. Okay, but then don't complain to me.
Okay, an entrepreneur like me. What if I wanted to study cannabis?
Then move to fucking Denver, bitch. Fuck Houston.
So why do I have to move to Denver though? Like,
Because that's the current law. So what am I supposed to do? I can open a store in fucking Texas and throw down, or I can adjust. That's what you have to do. Nobody gives a fuck about your feelings, bro. Most people that are born with wealth, bro, they lose because they're soft. So if you're so angry, put it to good energy and go move to Denver, or enjoy 19 to 22, chill, then move to Denver, or wait for the laws to change. You can't cry about how it is. That's just never, ever, ever, ever the right move.
To be a successful artist, you'll need a whole community of people supporting your career. If you live in a city, you'll be surrounded by people with a range of diverse skills, ideas, and opinions. This diversity will stimulate you to produce new ideas.
So it's the same thing with DJing. If you're not in a place where it's suitable to you, then you have to find another place that's going to help cultivate your genuine love for the culture and passion of DJing. You got to be in a place where things are happening for what you want to do as a DJ. You also have to understand the atmosphere and the energies of cities, okay?
So, the success of Live, other clubs were coming into the market and bidding against our same DJs, our same promoters, same everything. So we wanted to take the other big space, which was Story, and it gave us a way to really squeeze out the competition by counter-programming the two clubs. So Friday nights is Commercial House at Story, and Live is open format. So what we did is, Marquee in New York did Fridays underground, and we did the Saturdays, and we have a lot of cross bookings and a lot of cross residencies. And we just didn't want these guys to come to America, and we have no idea who they are and have no relationship with them, because at least in Miami, maybe not so much in Vegas, it's very relationship based.
It's worked out. It's been a great move, but I think it would only work in New York and Miami, I think.
Jason doesn't feel like it'll work in Vegas just quite yet.
Each city has a totally different energy, okay? And you have to understand that. When I moved to DC from Miami, right? I realized, wow, like things are kind of weird because the federal government is bleeding into the nightlife, into the happenings of my creative lifestyle. 7 p.m., okay, everything stops in certain areas where you have garages, restaurants who close at 7 p.m. on Friday and don't open until Monday because they cater to the workers, especially in the Northwest. So you have to understand how that now affects everything else. But I came from a place like Miami where it was like hustling and bustling. But even Miami is different to DC and different to Vegas. Vegas is more people come in for the weekend. Boom, especially the Strip. It caters to people who come in and want to just really boop, 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 do their thing and roll out. Miami, you have that, but you also still have a metropolitan living space. So you have the local culture there that stimulates the economy. Where you have Vegas, it's more people from everywhere else. They come, and DC is a place where you have temporary local culture. You have to understand this. I know it's dry, I know it's boring, but the reason why you're not where you are now is because you don't understand this. So let me explain this to you. You have a place like DC, very temporary local culture, meaning that you have people who come from different places who are not from DC who now come to grind in DC. Federal government contracted jobs by default, or they come to school, okay? So now as a result, you have a bunch of people who haven't been groomed from day one in DC. You have people from out of the space, so you have a different mix, you have a different energy. Vegas, you have a weird dynamic where you have the local culture, a lot of people who are not from Vegas. Some people are, but a lot of people who moved to Vegas versus the people who are like the tourists, right? So now the entertainers, they come to entertain mostly the tourists. But you have the local people who are fighting against, these people, because what we talked about before, it's like, oh, you're over there, you're mainstream and so forth and so on.
For me personally, I think LA is a locals market. I think the reason why I have so much success in Miami is it's half transient. So it's a new crowd coming in, 50% of the time, maybe 60% of the time on a weekly basis. Where LA, it's the same crowd. Now you also have, and it's very promoter driven in LA. I think with all the festivals you have, a lot of these DJs are locked out of playing in LA because it's 3 months before, 3 months after, and the festivals can't compete with Vegas, so they let that go. But in LA, they'd stop it.
But this local culture here, that's just so local. Like you can tell, especially being in the West Coast and in this area, it really feels like a local culture. Like it really feels like you're not really doing anything. You're just complaining compared to like a New York City, Chicago, Atlanta, where even though you have people from different places, but it doesn't feel like local culture because people put people on the map. Yo, we in Atlanta. We are in Chicago, Chi-Town. We're in New York City. Queens represents Long Island, the Bronx. There's history there. So people have now grown up around that rich history, that rich creativity, and have been able to push forward. I know it's dry, but you have to understand where I'm coming with this.
Problem is that the young niggas that caught waves didn't do enough records together. And they're all fuckboys for that. Yeah. And I know all of you niggas, and you're all fuckboys for it. They should have warmed up, because when a nigga get hot, the only way to keep let me tell you something. You want to fly, go crazy on the net, this is how you go crazy on the net. When niggas in Chicago won, it's because Chief Keef went and stood by Reese, Reese stood by Dirk, and then when that went, then Chief Keef had Fredo under him, and then when that went, it just looked like that was there, and then when it went, it just looked fucking crazy. And then you waited a couple more weeks, and then came fucking Little Herb, and then it was G Herb, and then you saw Bibby, and then you see the next level under them with the fucking, my nigga fucking 600 Breezy. You see all of it, like it just, there's a reason for that. They all have records together, and half of them niggas want to kill each other.
Yeah, that's a fact, yeah.
So that's what creates the market. So now if you're in a place like New York City and you're only in Queens, guess what? Try to go to the Bronx. Try to connect with people in the Bronx and feel the energy there. If you're in Vegas, you have to realize you can't come to Vegas and be like, yo, I'm going to come to Vegas and pop. Why? Because the DJs that come here come for the experience, to provide an experience for the people who live here. So a lot of people say, oh, Vegas, man, I'm gonna come to Vegas. How's Vegas? Whatever like that. Bro, you don't understand the energy. You can't come to Vegas like you can go to Miami. Miami, you got Broward County, Miami-Dade, you got West Palm Beach. Even within those, you have North Miami, you have Fort Lauderdale, you have South Beach, you have downtown. You see what I'm saying to you? You have Coral Gables, you got Coconut Grove, you got Aventura. So all these places allow for not only the locality to thrive, but you have tourism that also seeps into these areas. Where in Vegas, everything is centralized to the Strip. Everything beyond that, people say, oh man, you don't know anything about beyond the Strip. But guess what? You're all local. There's nothing really happening there because all you do is you just stay local. Nobody's coming up from Vegas. You don't hear cats, yo, we got these cool artists from Vegas. No, it's people coming from elsewhere into Vegas. Miami, you have people from Miami. DJ Khaled, Cedric Gervais, Oscar G, Patrick M. I can go on and on and on. You see what I'm saying to you? And then you have other people from New York that go to these places that have been involved with these people and they create their names for themselves. Like Nori, right? Noriega, he lives in Miami now. So you have all these things. Scott Storch, he lives in Miami too. So you have all these things developing where you have a lot of creativity mixing in that area. Same thing with New York. So you got to understand, someone called me, they were living in Missouri. If you're in Missouri and you feel that it's just not happening, then guess what? You need to move if you're serious about DJing. That's what it is, because you need enough people in that area in order to create an atmosphere, a texture, a culture of winning. And if you don't have that, then it's just, if you don't have people working together, then it's just not going to work. So you have to move. That's number 2. Number 3, okay? You got to be in the know. This right here is one thing that really kills me.
I love the Dawn Season is fantastic. I love Ava. I love Dave East. I love Jacques. I love what they doing uptown. I love Paparazzi Poe. I love Cardi B. I love everything uptown. I love what's going on in Queens. I could go down the list, 821. I love what's happening. I love what's happening in Brooklyn. I notice what's up. I do. I see everything. It's your show. Niggas have egos and act like they don't see it. I see everybody. But niggas got to do a little bit more. And then that's just it. Then we gonna open up the gate. The sucker behavior gotta stop. And all of the hot niggas that don't know none of the names that I talk about, and the dozens, and the OP, and the fucking Corey Finesses, and the handsome ballers, and it's probably a million niggas I'm still forgetting, but don't think I don't know. You get what I'm saying? It's y'all niggas' fault. So we gonna check. I'm gonna check them. And then I'm gonna check y'all, and we're gonna check each other. It's gonna be checks and balances, and we're gonna know who's all a part of this is gonna be some. And the ones who not, we're gonna see that we just gonna outcast that whole shit. How about that? How about when we put this shit together the right way, everybody who don't jack it, now they on a fucking ice. Then we don't make it comfortable for them to walk through the city no more. How about that? You know what I mean?
Sorry. There are a lot of people who are really oblivious to what's going on around them. Being in the know, which is part of networking, is a skill. It's a talent. It has to be groomed. It doesn't come naturally to everyone. But I'm telling you, I'm giving you perspective and I'm giving you context. And after this video, you'll understand, being in the know is very important. You have to know the right people. You have to know the right places to go. When I moved to DC, I was telling DJs about places that they didn't even know about venues that they didn't even know about. And they've been there. They DJ'd at very great venues. And I was explaining to them, hey, what about this? You need to know about that. Before I went to Miami, I did my research on all the DJs. I hooked up with all the DJs because I did my research. But for example, before I went to Miami, I was looking up all the DJs and I linked up with Johnny Ramirez. Johnny Ramirez is a good friend of Patrick M, who's the resident of Space, but used to be the resident of Amazing Sundays at Nikki Beach. Johnny Ramirez hooked me up, because I would always go to Johnny Ramirez. We're talking about the booth riding. I would always go to Johnny Ramirez's parties. I wouldn't ask him for anything. I would just hang out with him while he's DJing. He would always invite me, and I would stay in the booth, and I would just hang out, and I would feed the crowd. Eventually, when he did Miami, he was like, yo, why don't you DJ? Come and DJ, you know, whatever with me. Patrick M heard me and was like, yo, I want you to come on Amazing Sundays and DJ with me. That's how it, oh my God, man. Like, it's so simple, man.
Right? And then what happens is, then people go off. The club I ran, yeah, so many people in there are in media. One girl is one of the most powerful people in TV, Sharon Powers, she's a big producer. She used to be like going crazy dancing on the bar with, you know, in her bra top, yeah? And now she's like this really important person in TV. And other guys are magazine editors. Other guys run blogs. One guy runs an amazing Peruvian restaurant. He used to be the warm-up DJ in London. If you ever come to London, Pvnch, we should go there. Martin Morales, you're a lovely man. Right? He later sang Katie Tunstall, and he ran Disney Records in Europe. But he was just some young guy who DJ'd in my club. So the idea of networking in the American sense is bollocks. Networking is not networking. It's living, breathing in the space that you do, and through doing it, you meet others who are equally ambitious doing it, and then one day they become your peers, and you do not realize that you've networked because they're just some guy who drank beer with you till 4 a.m.
Well, it's funny, Mike.
But anyway, I'm not gonna get upset because it's not. I'm not upset at you, but it's like it's so simple, and like you guys are being fed bullshit by the other people in YouTube, and that's why I'm here to protect you guys. Like I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at them other fuckers who keep saying, "Oh, you need a fan base. You need leads. You need that." What the fuck were you doing before the internet, bitch? How do you garner all the fans and all the followers, the genuine followers? I'm not talking about the virtual followers. I'm talking about the real people who come to visit you day in and day out. It wasn't because of the internet. It was because that people hooked you up, put you on because you were there and you provided value for them and you were patient. But we'll get into that.
When you come in there, it's about making sure the people that paid their money feel better than they did before they walked in there. And when you leave that scar there, that promoter knows. I don't give a shit who you get. Kid Capri, he shook this shit. Let's go get him again. Let's go take him into another city. Yo, my man that you promote, let's go get Kid. You want to get some bread? Let's go get Kid. Every show I do, swollen. Everywhere, and it's not because of me DJing, it's because everything else that come with it. It's professional, we on time. The people that work with me make sure your shit's gonna be right. We gonna make sure everything is together. You ain't gonna throw me in no corner like I'm some neighborhood DJ. You gonna put me on stage like I'm supposed to be, the same way you gonna put Jay-Z on stage. Same way you're gonna put the dude with the hit record on stage. And I'ma sell this shit out the same way he did, and you're gonna treat me like you treated him. If you ain't gonna treat me like that, go get the next dude to do your show, because I don't need it. I do 200 shows a year, homie.
But all them name drops. Oscar G, Sergio Gervais, you know, all these people.
For me, the hardest working person that I've came across in my entire life so far will have to be Michael Jackson. And then this is why I tell you, right? So when you hard working, you're like moving at the speed of light, but somehow you aware on everything going on with the culture and everything. Like you know everything at real time. Like, cause you Michael, man, you're like in Asia somewhere. So why you calling me? And then you're like, yo, you know, I was just watching this TV and I was like, who's this guy, you know, gone to November? You know, I think I'm being pranked and I hang up the phone.
Being in the know. It's you have to know who's who, where's who.
Another thing is, you know, I go around I did every state, every country. I did a lot of places. So you got to know what's going on in that state that's underground, that's not on the radio. You have to know that. So when I go in these cities, what I do is I get with the main DJ that's in that city, because again, I also look at it as there's big DJs in that city. Why do they come and get Kid Capri to come to that city? because I made my lane. But me knowing that, I still respect the people in that city, and I'll get the big DJ there and ask him what's going on, invite him out, put him on stage, blow him up, you know what I'm saying, make him feel like, damn, he ain't come to my city and just shut me down. He invited me and involved me. You know what I'm saying? And that means something. Right. That means something. It just shows that you're humble in what you got. You know what I'm saying? And you want to create opportunities for others. Why not? Right. You know what I'm saying? For the ones that really deserve it and really work.
I know, even in Vegas, I know what you eat for breakfast because you post it, but I know who the DJs are in Vegas. Even before I came here, I knew who it was. I researched, hey, what's it like to DJ in Vegas? I knew who were the power players. I knew who was this because I would look at this friend, because listen, I used to be a cop. As a detective, the mindset, I know how to link, and just look. That's what I love to do. Again, that's my skill, research. So I would sit and research people, who you are, what you do, SoundCloud, all that stuff. So I know everything about everyone. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's why I'm able to put things together. That's what I'm saying to you. It's not because I'm just so smart. You put things together because after a while doing all the research, you realize, yeah, what's happening in Miami is happening in Vegas. What's happening in DC, but on a different scale. But DJing is DJing. Partying and nightlife is the same thing. We all do the same thing. So it's not hard to connect the dots if you do the research. So you got to be in the know. You got to know the booking agencies in your city. Let me answer the question right now. Who's the booking agency in your city right now? Answer me right now. Answer. Do you know the agents who work for the booking agencies there? Do you know the promoters who actually contact the booking agencies there? Do you know the music managers at the clubs? Do you know even if the venue or the clubs have music managers? Who are the talent purchasers? Do you know who these people are? You got to be in the know. For example, Biz Martinez. He used to do venues in Miami. I'm just letting you know, because when I was in Miami, that's where I learned a lot. He used to have, different, because we were born the same day, same age, October 24th, 1977. So he used to do his thing, and then he ended up doing a night with Stefan Luke at Amica on Sundays on Washington Ave, right? Then from there he moved to Nocturnal with DJ Roland. You see how I'm in the know? I'm dropping names, right? Patrick M came and hooked him up, like you see in this interview that I had with Patrick M.
I remember going to Local Celebrity, which was at Nocturnal back in the day, and I remember you being a guest DJ. But did you actually become a resident of Local Celebrity?
Yeah, at the beginning I was a guest DJ for like 2-3 months, and then Roland and Biz offered me to do a residency with them, and I say yes, of course. Yeah, that was a great party, actually.
You see what I'm saying to you? So now, from there, he left that and he became the music manager and talent purchaser for Live and Story Miami. He was the music manager and talent buyer for those places.
At least in Miami, maybe not so much in Vegas, it's very relationship-based. I'm very lucky I have Biz Martinez as my music director. So, the success of Live, other clubs were coming into the market and bidding against our same DJs, our same promoters, same everything. So we wanted to take the other big space, which was Story, and it gave us a way to really squeeze out the competition by counter-programming the two clubs.
So are you seeing what I'm saying to you? So you got to know who these people are. You got to be in the know. You got to know where the party's at. You got to be at these parties. When I was DJing at Segafredo on Lincoln Road, see, I'm just dropping names. When I was And even if you don't know, but you have to understand, you could just type in and you can see, okay, where I'm at. Segafredo, everyone would come to Segafredo. DJ Chus would come to Segafredo and just have a drink. Stan Kolev would come. All the big DJs, all that would just have, they come have a drink, eat, because it's an Italian, very cool spot on Sundays, Saturdays, Thursdays. I was Thursday night, the official start of the weekend, Thursday nights for Johnny Fontana. And after that, I would go to Cameo when it was open. I would go to Mansion. I would go to, Space on Friday nights, Saturday nights. I would be in the know because I would know all the parties, everything that's happening. Saturday night, people came from after the after hours from Saturday night. They would go into the Amazing Sundays with Patrick M. and DJ Bruno. You see what I'm saying to you? Like, name dropping. So you in the know. So I'm not going to beat that into the ground anymore. Next thing now. Very important.
I think artists are going to have a much wider world than just music. They're just going to have to. They're going to have to represent more than just music. For one artist, it might be their charity, their music, and maybe access into a part of their world that people are emotionally invested. For another artist, it may be they're a painter and they write songs and they make videos for other bands that draw on a different audience. That you're just going to have to be more diverse and you're going to have to be smarter. But if you keep begging the audience to do you this one favor, which is to buy this one piece of plastic, which everybody knows is worthless, it doesn't work.
So
you got to be the media. You have to be the media. Meaning that it's not just about the music anymore. It's not just about sending your stuff out there and being, a DJ on a radio show online, because you don't even know who's listening to that. And a lot of these people, they give you fake numbers because they won't give you the numbers of who actually is listening. Okay? Because it happened to me in Vegas, where I came to Vegas and I was like, hey, I got this, I got people that I know, we can do this, I got ideas, whatever. Ended up being that they wanted me to pay for that spot so that I can have my own radio show, but they weren't willing to actually back me up and give me and work with me. They basically just wanted me to just pay them and then just hang out or whatever. They weren't really interested in being part of something or like making their brands, you know what I'm saying, whatever. They were like, oh, motherfucker, I just want you to just pay me so that you can have a studio. That's what they were. They were trying to be, that's right now, that's what people are doing right now. They have these little corner studios, these, the radio stations in some like plaza in one room, and they act like, oh yeah, we're gonna be there with you, whatever, and basically you just pay and you rent. Like you rent the studio time, you rent a radio time, And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in just having, because I want to be able to say, oh, I know people from New York, I know people from Miami. Do you have contacts to help me bring them over and let's play at a club? But they weren't even thinking like that. You see what I'm saying to you? So, being in the media, you have to now, let's say you are in graffiti, you are an artist, you are a web designer, you do t-shirts, whatever that you do, you now need to be able to provide that to the people in nightlife so that you can garner your own success. Not followers. I don't believe in this whole, oh, you need followers, because the followers don't translate to real world activity.
This is where it's difficult to answer your question, because I think that almost all those systems really don't work. Okay, there is the, let me get enough Twitter followers, let me get enough Facebook likes. I don't think those things really at the end of the day work. Because if they did, then Lady Gaga would have sold 3 million albums in her first week and not 1 million, you know what I'm saying? We have 1.3 million Facebook followers. It doesn't mean 1.3 million people run out and buy anything you put out. It just doesn't work like that. And in fact, if you try to go to those 1.3 million people and say, oh, will you please buy it?
They'll do the opposite. No.
They'll say, you, and they won't buy anything.
Here's why. Most of my followers and my subscribers in YouTube are from Europe. So if I tell you, bro, I have like 2,700 subscribers, right? because this is a very niche market. It's not big. It's not EDM. It's not techno. And it's very, you know, and I like it like that. Very small because I like my stuff small. I don't want it big. How am I going to say, hey, come out to my party? How am I going to get 2,700 of you, who most of you are in Europe and India, to my party? You see what I'm saying to you? So that's why this whole fan stuff is make-believe. Because, I'll give you an example of me. Since 97, from 97 to 2004, I lived in 7 different countries. 2004 to 2013, I lived in Miami. 2013 to 2017, I lived in DC. 2017 July, I'm in Vegas. How am I supposed to get my friends now to come to my party in Vegas?
YouTube hits don't translate into record sales. Facebook friends don't translate into record sales, right? So you're going to have to figure out a qualitative experience using technology that's going to draw the audience into a bigger experience that goes beyond music, that wants them to actually makes them want to listen to your music. And if you can't do that, you are going to fail. And there is a generation of kids out there that are going to grow up with the kind of tech savvy that they're going to marry whatever new technology exists. And I think my personal opinion is going to have very much to do with a visual component, which will lock you into the experience where you're going to have to watch something and listen to the music at the same time. Much like when you hear a song in a movie soundtrack and the scene and the lighting makes you go, I got to go buy that song.
You know what I'm saying to you? Think about it. I'm moving all of these places, not like some of you who've lived in your place your entire life. You now can be able to get all your friends and come. But I moved around so much, how am I supposed to get people from Miami to come to Vegas to my party? Now I'm starting from scratch. Are you starting to realize and understand what I'm saying? Because I'm actually living this. Most of you have been there, stay there for the rest for most of your life, and you think this is what it is. But I'm telling you, I'm moving around. So I'm giving you now what? Context and perspective. If you moved around so much, how are you supposed to get people to not come to your party that you lived, someplace 2 years ago? How are they supposed to come to you? They went to your party every night, every night that you played. Then you moved to another place. How are you supposed to? Are you following me? It's the same concept with when you're a DJ. You go from this place, you tour in Europe. Who knows you? Listen, as a consultant for nightclubs and DJs overseas, I get offered all the time. Come to Russia, come to Italy, come to Spain and DJ. Problem is, I'm a connector. I like to connect with people. Me going to DJ for one night just to show on YouTube or, oh, I'm DJ, whatever, that's not me because I'm authentic. That's not going to do anything for me. Because first of all, people don't even know me. So if people don't know me, I cannot, because I'm so passionate. You see my passion. I'm so passionate about it because I'm in front of you. You're my subscribers. I know you. I cannot be this. I'm a performer. So, and it's music. It's not the same thing as performing and acting, going everywhere. It's music. You feed off the crowd. And there's a connection between music, the DJ, and, like what I put from the speakers that go out to you, the energy that goes from the DJ to the audience. Unless you're a big star DJ, it's very difficult to replicate that everywhere you go. Unless people know you and you're a big time DJ and producer. You see what I'm saying to you? It's very difficult. So for me to just go to Germany and DJ, I'm not going to get anything out of it. Yeah, people will enjoy themselves, but I'm in it for myself. Because if I'm not happy, I'm not going to be the best that I can in order to make the other DJ, the people there happy. So, understand that being in the media means that you need to be able to get whatever skills that you have that's out of nightlife and to present it and provide value to other people. You need to put other people on. That's why we're DJs. You're radio DJs. You put people on. You interview.
Do you think you can still break records the same way how you used to?
Me?
Yeah.
I do it every day.
Or in general?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Okay.
Right now, I didn't want to go to radio because I didn't want no program director telling me how to be Kid Capri, so I stayed away from the radio. You know what I'm saying? And then the internet thing came out, of course, Periscope and IG Live and all these different things came out, so I started a little show on there where people could see me do what I do. And I could express to them the way I think it should be done. I started a show called the Block Party Live Mixtape, and I'll sit there and play different things that people never heard or forgot about, and I make it sound like it's new. So that's why I have a lot of young people as well as the older people watching. And then I started realizing I had a lot of women watching. So I said, I'm gonna start a show for the women. I'm gonna call it No Panty Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm doing it, I started this Gmail Block Party Action at gmail.com. Where I tell people around the country to send me their music, and they get, and I play it on my shows because I know what it's like to not get heard. You ain't got no money for it. You ain't got no outlet, no machine. Nobody know where you at. Nobody trying to help you. So this is a spot where whether it's hot or not, I'm gonna let the fans decide that. I'm not gonna put my opinion into it, but I'm gonna give you an outlet. I gave them an outlet for them to be heard. So every week when I'm doing the joints, I play a few of the joints and let the people decide what's going on. That means so much to that person, even if they don't go nowhere. It's just that they know that they have a chance. You know what I'm saying? And that's all to it, B.
When I got Power last year, because of the whole This Is 50 Cent shit, 50 basically put me in a position of power. But what did I do with my power? I made sure that I put on for these niggas. I made sure that I had the Designer First interview, MA shit, Bobby and Rowdy calling from jail, Casanova, you know what I mean? Make sure that Fresh was up there, Corey Finesse, GZ Moolah, you know what I mean? Like, so many people, even my Uptown niggas, Jacquay, Don Q. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's, when I caught Power, I made sure I did what I was supposed to do as a nigga in Power and put on for this city. But sometimes I look around at my counterparts and I'm disappointed, to say the least. People got power and they got fame and they didn't look back.
Example with Flacco. Flacco, he has a radio show. Is he doing interviews with house DJs? Or is he doing interviews with anyone? No, there's not there. I use my Samsung S6, S7 to record a lot of my stuff.
Be honest with us, with each other. The only people that you have on your social media are a bunch of DJs and your friends, okay? The regular 9-to-5 folk really don't give a of who you are. People are not genuinely looking, for the hashtag DJ life. You know what I'm saying to you? No one's looking for that. Club owners are not looking for, let me see what DJ's popping right now. Hashtag DJ life. Stop it. Okay, that's not happening right now. Okay, very, very, very few. Maybe promoters are doing it, but it's very few.
You can use that as a recording device to go in and do interviews with people. You can do video, you can do that. It's all about bringing people into your world and provide value. But it connects with the next step. It's not just you going out there and creating all these fans and leads, because that is bullshit, okay? The next one is now booth riding, okay? It's all connected. It's not just you have to have this, or number one, you got to be in the market, you got to be, in the media, or you have to be self-aware. It's everything combined. And then also we'll talk about the actual, the variables that will affect your success. Booth riding, okay? It's a concept that I created. Basically it means being inside of the DJ booth, being a student of the game.
With the guys that I put in with me, from Kid New to Technician to DJ to Rico Anderson, they watch what I've done many, many times. So with them watching and with them seeing how everything went, they developed their own way of having that type of aggression with them. And a lot of times I might have went out of town and gave them a chance. Yo, I need you to do this. Tell them exactly what I need them to do. And they'll yes me all day. And then I get there. When I get there, he's doing exactly what I told him not to do. You see what I'm saying? Right. So now you killed yourself. You can't open for me no more. You can't.
Booth riding, okay? It's a concept that I created. Basically it means being inside of the DJ booth, being a student of the game, okay? I'm gonna name drop. When I first started booth riding, it was with DJ Mad. Drama nightclub in New Jersey.
Don't stop, pop that, don't stop, pop that, pop that, pop that, don't stop, pop that, don't stop, pop that, pop that, pop that, don't stop, pop that, don't stop, pop that, pop that, pop that, don't stop, pop that, pop that, let me see your doodle brand.
I would go to his party and I would watch him DJ. He would do the box. That's what you call it in the box. Basically, you go from salsa, reggaeton, house, hip hop, reggae, salsa, merengue, bachata, the Latin music, to the house, whatever, in different directions. But he would play. And I wasn't a creep, because some of you people are creeps, man. You'd be like, doing all this crazy stuff and looking. And some of you DJs, you'd be just hanging out there looking at the DJ and then commenting, oh yeah, you did that right. Fuck you. But what I'm saying though, is that I would sit there, he would be DJing, and I would stay quiet.
And this taking me back, right? So Destiny Child was opening up for me.
Is that right?
Right? Watch this. But every time Destiny Child got off the stage and I went on, Beyonce was always on the side studying the show. Now people be like, man, why is she so invincible? She's so invincible because she's a student of the game.
She put in the work.
Right? So this is another thing when we talk about so for me, when I show up, it's not about what I'm doing. I want to know what you're doing.
It's
right?
It's actually, what I do for a living is actually only predicated on watching what other people are doing to figure out what they're going to do next.
Booth riding is a concept that I created, okay? Which basically means you are in the DJ booth and you are essentially being a student of the game. You are riding and you are figuring out what's happening. You're not just hanging out there because you want to be cool. You're actually there, because you want to be cool, but you also are learning the game of DJing. You're learning what's happening. You're figuring out, okay, how is this DJ working the crowd? How is the crowd responding? How is the music manager inside of the nightclub? How is he navigating? How is he communicating with the DJ and the promoters and the bartenders and all that stuff, right? Because everything has to work synergistically, right? You have to understand that there's the promoters, there's the doorman on the outside, then there's the music manager, and then there's the DJ, and then there's the owner. So that music manager right there, he's orchestrating everything. He's making sure the doorman is tight. He's making sure that the promoters are tight, okay? He's making sure that the DJ is tight. You see what I'm saying to you? And he's making sure that the bar is tight. So he's in there communicating with everyone. Okay, he's not like doing like a lot of these other nightclubs where they just, leave it to promotion groups that, once the night goes down, they move on to the next club. All right, the music manager is invested into the nightclub. You see what I'm saying to you? So that's part of who you need to know as well.
You have promoters in LA, we talk about it all the time, that go to these club owners and say, listen, you're opening a new place. You can only open on my night for the first month. I would stab a promoter in the fucking neck if he ever said that to me. But in LA, you have no choice because these promoters control the whole situation. Jason?
Agreed.
Okay.
Right? DJ Mad. I still have his phone number. Matter of fact, we're supposed to link up so I can do an interview with him so I can start showing you, what he's about and so forth and so on. I was supposed to meet up with him the last time. He was actually doing the after show for Shawn Prez, right? Like the dude, he's amazing. He's doing his thing. He flies to different countries, he's doing his thing. But a lot of people don't know about him like that, right? He's not mad popular, but guess what? He does his thing. He's working, and like I said, there are different levels of success, right? But you got a booth ride. Like, so for example, look at those guys from that radio station in New York, right? Right?
Welcome to the Midnight Mix with my boy El Blanquito, DJ David S. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at DJ DAVIDS. He does the Midnight Mix every night for you, and this is our special edition recorded on the video set version of the Midnight Mix. So, DJ David S., without further ado, let's get it going.
I saw them at the that DJ Awards event, right? I linked up, I was like, yo, I got his number, I was like, hey, I'll call you up, if we can have, a session, you know, what have you. I never contacted him again because I haven't been able to provide value, okay, because I haven't gone into that hip hop top 40 side, but I have his information. You see what I'm saying to you? I have his direct contact. So if I want to now, I can go to New York, you know what I'm saying, be like, yo, I want to, you know, hang out with you, you know, at the radio station and show me how it works. That's me, you know, being in the know, me networking, getting involved in that. That's me booth riding, learning the game, learning the system.
But how can we forget those live late night mix shows that we all love to listen to before a night out with our friends? Steve finally gave us the grand tour of the main studio where it all comes to life.
But Steve has a very, very bright future ahead of him. He's been here since almost a couple years now. Started off as an intern, worked his way up on the street team, worked with me late at night so I could train him for this time right now. So he could be a producer in New York City for a prime time slot.
You see what I'm saying to you? Because now I'm not only being in the market, you see what I'm saying to you, but I'm also being in the media by learning how radio works, learning how interview techniques works. You see what I'm saying? On that big level. Being an intern, right? And I'm also now booth riding with the radio DJs. You see what I'm saying to you? Like, listen to this real quick.
There's a kid named Prince of Zamunda, DJ named Prince of Zamunda.
Oh, the kid, young kid with the high top.
That little kid, the reason why y'all know him right now, that you know who he is,
right,
because 5 years ago, I was doing Indiana, right? And I was walking through the expo in Indiana, and he was with his father, and he had a little DJ controller, and he was trying to get the music on, and it didn't work. I was walking past, and I seen him struggling, and I stopped and went over there to him and his father, and I helped him get his stuff on. His father knew who I was, of course, but he was telling his son, do you know who's helping you right now? Like, he didn't understand. And then he went and Googled everything I did.
Right.
Ever since that day to today, I just got through liking all his pictures. Ever since that day to today, he stayed in touch with me. And I would show him things and invite him to my shows. And when I do Cincinnati and all that, bring him out and stuff like that. So now he got on Empire. He be around different celebrities and different people, and they showing him a lot of love, and he always calls me uncle and stuff like that. But that was the first introduction to him and being in the industry, from being in that expo, for me walking over there and helping him with his equipment.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I started.
So what I'm saying to you is that booth riding is essential. When I was when I went to Europe, I was booth riding, right, for DJ Rivas, DJ Gustavito, all right, at Porphyris and at Nautilus, right? I was, when I was in Asia, I was booth riding at BME 1, BME 2, Sofitel Hotel, right? When I was in Thailand, the Bedside Supper Club, I was booth riding, hanging out with the DJs. And the thing is, once you're booth riding, you are not being a creep. All right, when I first started DJing with, when I first started booth riding with DJ Mad, I just went up there and I was like, yo, you mind if I come up there? He said, yeah, sure, come up. And I just watched, I hung out. When he was doing his thing, he was going from hip hop to Latin to house to reggae. He was working the block. That's what you call like an old school term. When you play different styles, it's called the block. And he was, doing his thing, and I wasn't even saying anything. I'd be like, yo, I love it, and that's it. I wasn't being a creep. I wasn't asking him for tunes. I wasn't trying to have a conversation with him. I was just being a student of the game and soaking up all that information. So now, guess what? If I have value, or when I have value, or that I feel that it's essential and it pertains to him, I will contact him. So like right now, I want to do an interview with him so I can start putting him on here and, explain to folks, okay, how do you spin salsa, merengue, it's Latin music? How do you go from Latin to EDM? How do you go from EDM to reggaeton or to reggae, then back to hip hop? You see what I'm saying to you? Like, because he also plays for the radio. How'd you get involved in that? Like, talk to me about that. Talk to me about opening up and playing for after shows for like people like Sean Paul or for like those big salsa, bachata, and reggae artists. You know what I'm saying to you? Like that information I can bring down to you now. And as a result of me doing that, guess what? I'm providing value, and it's not going to be hard for me to be like, yo, DJ Mad, what's up? You see what I'm saying to you? So, you booth riding, okay? That's number 5. Number 6, you be the party. After you've taken all of those steps, okay? You know who you are. You know what you want to do. You know how much you're willing to put into that game. Then now you go and you be part of that media. You are in the media, in the market. You know where you were, what you want to do, how much you want to put into it, and now you go into the market where you're gonna be part of a system where you can share the culture, share the energy, where other people want to be as well. Because if you're in some rinky-dink city, no one's gonna want to go there. You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna attract other people. You're not gonna be able to network with other people, right? So when you're being part of the media, you're helping out, you're bringing value, okay? If you're intern for radio, because that's part of being a DJ, right? So you cannot just hang out and just do mixes all that, okay? A DJ is a curator, okay? So you're providing value. So you have to get into media, you have to get into radio. It's easy right now to do interviews. You can do interviews, I can do YouTube, right? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm providing consultation, right? If you have skills, if you want to go help DJs, if you want to do tutorials, that's all you being in the media, right? Then from there, you booth ride, okay? You get involved into the DJs, network, okay? And a lot of people, a lot of these DJs are suck. Then guess what? It doesn't matter. You move on, right? It's like call sales. It's cold calls, right? You calling people, someone's not really interested. Guess what? You move on, right? And at the end of the day, we're gonna talk about the variables as well. That's gonna help you blow past that whole, that DJ's a dick, whatever like that. Because at one point it starts to become an excuse. So now, okay, once you're booth riding, you've done all that, now you be the party, right? But being in the party right now means that you are taking all the people, okay, that you've networked with, all the promoters, all the club managers that you knew, okay, being in the club. Because remember, you're booth riding, so you're getting to know all these people. When I was at Club Griffin, okay, at the Hard Rock Hotel, when it first opened up in 2005, I was booth riding with JP Rigo and Johnny Ramirez, right? Then I booth rode with Aaron Taylor, okay, and those other guys. And then from there, when Ivano Bellini came down, I was booth riding with him, and I was booth riding with Roland. That's what I'm saying to you, hanging out there, okay? I was getting to know all the different music managers, the promoter, the doorman, okay? So you tap into these sources. So now when you are the party, and then the party doesn't mean that you're gonna have an automatic residency like weekly. You could just be like, yo, I'm gonna get put on. So once you get put on and you do a good job, guess what? You bring your people that is going to be able to provide you with the party, right? So you network and you say, listen, hey, I got a gig. I need for you to come, and work with me, right? Be my promoter, be my doorman, be my whatever, in order to create that party.
Whoa, what is he playing? Bomb. You go there, you're like, who are you? Oh, I'm a kid from Glasgow. Oh, I'm a guy from Italy. Bomb. 2 hours, madness, and you are the one who understand exactly what he's talking about, And then it might inspire you to play better, or you just ask him, hey, do you produce music? Or you want to hang with me? You want to play with me? So because I can add you on my bill and my party, and if you play the same music like you played today, my party is the bomb. I'm the winner. I don't need to play better than you. You play good, everybody talks about my party. Perfect. This is how it works.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Now, once you start providing value and people know, okay, yo, he's a party rocker, now, since you're in that market, you're in the media, you can now bring other DJs down, right? Like, I got guys from Poland that are willing to come down and DJ, and not for, a lot. but they doing their thing in Poland, right? But they're willing to come down and spend. They can spend for 500, 1,000, 1,500, do 3, 4, 5 shows. You see what I'm saying to you? And then from there, you switch back. So if you're at a party, you can now provide them and have them come down. You see what I'm saying to you? Because it's different. It's difficult as a DJ for you to bring value and have someone come down if you're not part of the system, if you're not part of a place where they're going to allow, unless you have become and generate enough contacts to become a like a booking agent and stuff like that, that's different. But if you're just a DJ and you're providing value, you want to be in the market, be in a place where now not only can you showcase your stuff, but then you can also have now guest DJs. That's like what DJ Roland does. He sets aside once a month to do his thing, but meanwhile, guess what? He's having guest DJs come down and so forth. But it's not like guest DJs are just like overriding the actual nightclub. It's basically him. He's the forefront of everything. He's the forefront of the actual of the act itself, and then he's just bringing these people as guests. But he's always on the fly, so you know he's the mainstay. He's the resident DJ. He's the one that's operating everything. You know what I'm saying to you? He's providing the opportunities for other people. So now he's providing value to them. And then from there, if you're telling him, hey, listen, you know, I want to, you know, move over there, go to this, whatever, he can do it. But certain people are just, like I said before, you have to know, you know, sideline how much work you're willing to put. Some people just want to hang out at a nightclub, at their favorite nightclub, and DJ there, and they're not willing to like travel and do, because they just don't want to do it, because they just don't like the scene. Like I know a lot of guys that DJ in Fort Lauderdale, in Hollywood, Florida, but they don't like the Miami scene, so they stay there. And it's okay, but they're still providing value. You see what I'm saying to you? But if you want to be touring and you want to do all that stuff, then you're going to have to now reach out to other people, bring value to yourself, bring value to the people, and also now help bring other guys down from wherever, you know, from local city, start local, city to city, state to state, and then from there, once you garner enough, you know, of a reputation, you know what I'm saying to you, then you contact other people, bigger stars, bigger, maybe one-time, you know, host, whatever, that can host an event, and then from there, you know, you just kick off.
I'll give you a prime example. Look at Patrick M. I know I keep bringing him up, but he's the most recent example. I mean, I can bring up many examples, but let's just stick with Patrick M for now. He was a resident at Space, right? Do a weekly after-hours set. Occasionally have guest DJs, right? And some of those DJs were Chus Ceballos from Stereo Productions, and also Erick Morillo. We all know who Erick Morillo is. Erick Morillo would come down and he would stay at Patrick M's home in Miami when he would come down to play at Space. And in turn, when Erick Morillo would go overseas, he would bring Patrick M with him to play and open up for his gigs. Now, when Erick Morillo plays at Avalon LA, Patrick M is opening up for him. Same with Stereo Productions. Generated a relationship with them, with Chus Ceballos, when it came down to play at Space. And now he became one of their artist labels and became a DJ on their booking agency list. So what Patrick M has been able to do now is go out into the world, expose himself, and come back now and pass on that information to his friends, so that when he's done, when he's over with, he can pass the torch. And the connections and collaborations and the friendships will last. And they will be able to now go on and create new and formulate new friendships and associations.
Let's get into the variables now, because this is very important. Not everyone's going to be able to make it. That's just the bottom line, right? Not everyone's going to be able to make it in the industry. And forget what you see. Just because you have a lot of stuff on the internet and you see a lot of things, guess what? The cream always rises to the top. It doesn't matter who you are. Like I said, when we first started this lecture, the cream will always rise to the top. You see what I'm saying to you? And the recipe is the same no matter what kitchen you are working in. You just have different equipment. That's all, but the recipe is the same. You see what I'm saying to you? There's nothing that's changed. It's all the same formula. So these three variables are going to now set you apart, okay? Because again, it's the technical, okay? The first 6 steps are just technical. Anyone can do it, okay? You can be self-aware, okay? You can be in the market. You can be the media. You can be in the know. You can booth ride, and you can be at a party. But what's going to set you apart are these 3 variables. Number 1, the hustle. You got to hustle. You got to prepare. You got to grind. You see what I'm saying to you? Like, you have to be willing to put in that work beyond just the weekend, right? Like, there's a lot of people who are just weekend warriors. Like, I live and breathe this stuff 24/7. I'm always thinking about different tutorials, different vlogs, different stuff about, you know, the culture. I'm always researching. I'm always on the internet looking up different interviews and understanding why this culture is like this, why DJs like this, why producers are like this, or what's going on with that. I'm always doing my research. I'm always keeping myself in the know. So you gotta hustle. Like, right now, I got my website that I'm working on, and I don't know how to do it, but I'm still working on it, right? I'm still trying to get that thing going, but again, it's just that hustle, okay, that grind. That's number 1. And number 2 now is timing. Like, it's all about timing, right? It's like, time is basically luck meaning preparation. Like, if you're there at the right time and you are properly prepared and you have a little bit of luck, guess what? You're gonna make it. You see what I'm saying to you? But that's just a variable, because time is not always on your side, okay? And finally, value. Like, you have to be able to provide value to people. Like, that's one of the aspects that a lot of people really don't understand. Like, value is intrinsic. Value is something that comes naturally. It's not forced. It's not something that, you know, you just wake up one day and then you say, well, I'm gonna go work on value. Like, value is something that you just gotta be genuine. Like, for example, if you're around someone, like because some of you people are creepy. Some of you people are just annoying. You know, like, I've actually stopped relationships, you know, with some of you because you're annoying, you're not providing value, and you're creepy, and you just never learn. Like, every time, you know, we have these discussions and we talk, and you're dependent on my information and me holding your hand for everything. That's why we don't talk. And if you realize why we don't talk, that's why, because you're not relative, you're not relevant, and you're not learning, and you're not providing value. You see what I'm saying to you? And we've discussed, you need to move forward, you need to do this, and you just sticking in that same area, hoping that things are gonna come your way, and it's not. You gotta be valuable, like anything in life. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, if you're that dude with the hot kicks, yo, that's Johnny right there. He's got the hot kicks, or he's got that flashy car, or, you know, he knows somebody, you know, or his uncle did this, whatever, like that. It's all about providing value. Like, if, let's say, for example, your uncle, you know, has a house with a pool, you know what I'm saying to you? Guess what? You now can, you know, create like barbecues, you know, events, whatever like that, for, like, you know, the artists, for the DJs and whatever like that. That's providing value, right? Like, if you look at some of my, I'll show you right now, the information, my messaging. You know, like, I'm providing value to Sergio Flores, and see who Sergio Flores is doing. So he was like, hey Johnny, hey, what's up? You know, it's been a long time. I provided value for him because I sent him a record, you know, of his, a picture of his record, you know, and I asked him, hey, recently, what are you doing? You know, because I liked his interviews and so forth and so on. And he said he's going to be in Ibiza and all that stuff. If I was in Europe, guess what? I could roll out with him. I could roll out with him, and he could show me exactly how he's doing everything, whatever, and booth ride with him. And I could learn that system. You see what I'm saying to you? And then from there, I could, you know, create my own lane. You see what I'm saying to you? That's providing value that like a lot of people aren't going to do. Like you have to understand that. Like you got to be charismatic. You see what I'm saying? You got to be cool around. You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot be just one of those introverts that just don't want to be, you know, don't want to hang around, don't want to do anything. You know, like you have to, you know, be someone that other people want to be around. You know, and it doesn't matter. Like even if you have other people that are dicks, if you have something of value, I guarantee you that that person who's a dick, who you thought was a dick, is gonna be like, yo, you know, that dude, you know, he's got what I want. And guess what? People will use you, but you have to know how much that you're going to provide and give, right? So it doesn't, you know, you don't lose your offerings, like to the point where you are rendered useless. Because at the end of the day, people use and abuse everything. That's what the game is all about. You have to realize that. You can't come into the system talking about, oh, well, you know, he's a dick because all he does is want to use me. Guess what? That's what we all do. That's what everyone does. You just use and abuse the system, but you have to know how much to give to not render yourself useless. All right? So those are the three valuables. Like you gotta hustle, you gotta be prepared, you know, you gotta be in the game, you always gotta be, you know, like understanding what's happening, you know, who's happening, where it's happening, right? You got to be prepared. Number two, timing. Like you got to be at the right time, at the right place, right? And like, it comes down to hustle. It comes down to preparation. It's just the timing, because, you know, it comes down to how much luck you have, how much preparation, and how much effort you put into the game. And also value. Like you have to have something of value. Like you got to be good at something. You know, like but it's besides DJing, like, and if you're like if you're good scratcher, like you're beyond reproaching your DJing. Pardon me. If you're beyond reproaching your DJing, then guess what? Then that's value right there. You know, then you use that to your advantage somehow. But you got to be someone that they like. You know what I'm saying, that you can be around. Because especially when you're booth riding and you're with people and you're hanging out, you got to be someone that you are an enjoyable aspect, or that you are someone who's enjoyable to be around. You see what I'm saying to you? Like for example, when I was in San Diego, I met up with Oscar P, right? Dude, like I met up with him. We were at a little what do you call it, festival, and we talked. But it was so nice that we ended up having lunch together. He took me back to his house. I mean, listen, he had never met me, never knew who I was at all. I just contacted him. I was like, hey, you know, because I saw on his Facebook, hey, I'm in San Diego. You know, what have you, I'm gonna move, whatever, boom, boom. And it was a quick contact, and he was like, yeah, meet me, whatever. And it progressed from there to the point where actually, because he had to go back home and get his coat because it was getting kind of cool, I went back to his house. Like, because I brought value, and I was someone that he wanted to be around, and more also because I wanted to be around him as well. So we had great discussion. We you know what I'm saying, too? We had something in common. So that's value as well. So had I lived in San Diego, guess what? I would have been, you know, doing things with him as well in other aspects and providing value, doing interviews, and my mind would have been, you know, like, what do you call that again? My mind would have been, you know, moving and figuring how to do other things. You know what I'm saying, with him. But exactly, you have to be in these places. You got to be in the market, and if you're not there, then you have to move, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't be prepared. You cannot prepare yourself. So, for example, even though right now I'm not in the market, I am preparing myself. Okay, when I say the market's for you. Doesn't necessarily mean the market for everyone. You know what I'm saying to you? Because you got to know exactly. Like I said before, you have to know who you are, and how much effort you're willing to put into this game. So that market means that you have to be in a market that suits your strengths and your skills. You know, yes, I'm a DJ and I can go out there and DJ at these lounges, at these clubs, and do whatever, but I want to also be able to do interviews. I want to be able to break artists. I want to be able to have you know, different, you know, labels that come down that has to do with house. and from guys from Europe and stuff like that. And then DC's not the place for that. You know what I'm saying to you? Because it has a lot of these other techie stuff, techno, whatever. It's a very 18-year-old college, atmosphere that's not conducive to what I want to do. Do interviews and because it's just not popping like that. It's not like New York. It's not like Miami. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's not like LA. So you have to understand, being in the market according to what you provide. Your strengths, your value, you being in the media. Does you being in the media now, is that area, is it conducive to your value, to your skills? You know what I'm saying to you? So it all connects. So that's basically where we are. So we'll just cap off again. Number one, you got to be self-aware. Top line, what do you want to do? Okay? And sideline, how much are you willing to put into the game? Number two, you gotta be in the market. Like, you have to be in the market. There's no question about it. You have to go where it's popping, all right? Because you need to be able to share that energy. Number three, you gotta be the media. Like, you have to provide value in other aspects of music, whether it be, if you're a videographer, if you are a graphic designer, if you do watches. Maybe you can do watches for nightlife enthusiasts, whatever that you can do to bring value to people in the nightlife, area. Then you got to be in the know. Like, you have to know who's who, like who's the booking agencies, who the promoters, who the artists, who are everything in your media, in your market, right, and in your culture. Then now you got a booth, right? Like, you actually have to spend time going out, being around and rubbing shoulders with these people. Like, there's no question about it. Like, that's basically what it comes down to. Then from there, you got to be the party. Like, you actually now have to create your own event, create your own lane, where now you can also provide value to yourself, to your crowd, and also now provide value in a way that indirectly you can now bring other people and say, oh yeah, he knows people. Because it's not all about just you doing your thing. Because now, once you now can bring other people from other places and bring value, that's a direct reflection on you, right? Because you heard what Loco Dice said, right? He's making him, that other DJ is making him look good. You see what I'm saying to you? So you have to understand where all this is coming from. Johnny Fontana, half amazing discussions. I really hope that you understand what all this is all about. And these are all the 6 steps plus the 3 variables, okay, which is the hustle, the timing, and the value. Once you put all these together and you execute, right, this knowledge, like, you're unstoppable. You see what I'm saying to you? So I really hope you take this, keep it as reference. Like I said, nowhere else you're gonna see this online. Trust me, because everyone now has this thing about, oh, you need to produce. Guess what? You're not a producer, you're a DJ. Okay? What you can do as a DJ now is now produce other artists. Okay? Get them together in order to create music, and then from there you can pop off. Right? But just by you making music is not going to, you're the DJ, so which means that you can now ascertain value through other people who actually make music. Now remember, especially when it comes to electronic music, these producers are becoming DJs, right? So you got to make sure that you are not relinquishing your efforts, you know what I'm saying, and your lane. So, once you get them popping off, you go to your lane now. You do your thing. You start DJing in other places, and don't let them come to your area and to your lane, because then you're going to get bumped off. So you got to understand, how to set yourself apart from these producers that become DJs, because then if you don't, then they're gonna take your lane and your shine, right? So Johnny Fontana, half amazing discussions. We are signing off, right? If you have any questions, email me directly, info@boothridertv.com. If you got any music you want to send to me, promo@boothridertv.com, and we're pulling this trigger. Right? Like, it's about time. Like, you wanted it, I gave it to you. Now guess what? It's about you taking that information and executing. We out.